I don't know, Chris. Why don't you ask the animals?
I just went ding, ding, ding with my mouth.
Link says, nana nana boo boo. Stick your head in doo doo.
But then again, it was all about me, and I love me, even dead me.
Oh, that's all the Jell-O horses that are dead.
Listen, if you ever yeet my bowl of spaghetti across the room,
I get yeeted off a cliff.
yeah, you do.
You are now listening to the world's most popular pulp culture radio comedy. It is Podcast 42.
And it's time for a special edition of Podcast 42. I am Christopher Voss. Dale just took a sip. I surprised him.
No. I was waiting for the others to say something, but then I realized they weren't here.
No,
but I'm JL Tross.
Has it ever just been you and me over, 5-6 years we've been doing
No,
this?
it hasn't. We're the constants of this show. We've never done a show, just the two of us.
Huh. This is the groundbreaking special episode of Podcast 42. Well, let's open up the beer cooler.
Yeah.
JL Beer Cooler, it's cooler than you think. JL Beer Cooler, it's cool enough to drink. It's cool enough to drink, yeah.
All right, well, we picked a beer that the women would not miss out on trying.
Well, I don't know. I feel like no matter what, one of them's going to tell us that they really wanted to try it.
Of course.
So we got from Weldwerks Brewing their coffee coconut stout. It's a nice imperial milk stout. The brewery is out of Greeley, Colorado. Ooh, this is an 8%er too.
Oh.
It's not like we have to work later.
I don't have to be to work till 5.
6. So we're good.
Oh, you're working at 6 today?
Supposedly. We'll see how it goes.
Are you closing?
Yeah.
Is that a closer? I'm still not a closer going in at 5.
It took me like 4 months to get there, but I'm almost there.
So it says it's brewed with toasted coconut, milk sugar, and Peruvian coffee. So is milk sugar
The coffee is from Zoe's Cafe, which I'm going to guess is a place out in Colorado.
Probably.
That they formed a partnership with.
But is milk sugar just milk and sugar mixed together?
I don't know. That's all I could think of. Well, it's kind of the whole lactose thing in beers. I was talking to a bartender friend of mine, and we were saying how there's lactose in everything. And that's because hops are so expensive right now. People don't want to spend the extra money on hops, so they're just kind of throwing lactose in beer to compensate for the hops that they would normally use because it's cheaper.
Lactose and hops are comparable?
I guess so. That was something I learned from him, and he was just like, yeah. He's like, that's how they're getting around having to use like extra hops because there was supposedly a hop shortage, and then the prices went up and crazy things.
So can we put hops in milk?
I think we should and find out what happens.
2% milk with 2% hops?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I will say on first sniff, you get all coffee, so I'm a little concerned with the coconut taste.
First impressions, it's different. Not bad different, not good different, not what I was expecting.
Huh.
It's it lingers at the end very interestingly.
All right. This is, after one sip, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's interesting.
Check for the rating at the end. We rate the beers 1 through 6. 1 being
I
the
got
worst.
that aftertaste you talked about.
Yeah, it's still there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, you have a highlight to wash it away with, and I got a bubbly to wash it away with.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of that lactose with extra hops.
So today we're going to address what is going on currently at Podcast 42 and what the future of Podcast 42 is holding. So with COVID, our show was hit a little hard because we all happen to work at the same place. And that same place laid us all off, along with 28,000 other people in the same industry. So we are out of Orlando, Florida, for the sake of putting a place. We're all kind of scattered. Not all of us are living in Orlando, but for the sake of having a central place that you can imagine, it's Orlando.
Yeah, like I used to be the furthest out of all of us in the group because I live like pretty much downtown Orlando.
Yes.
Where you're heading more towards Tampa, where I have to come and see you. So
We used to live in Orlando proper, but then we moved out to the country. We bought a house, and the idea was we bought a house that we could flip for a higher profit because it was an area that's kind of building up. So
they're in Green Acres.
it's the place for me. With that, Orlando, we thought might be the new Flint, Michigan, where when all the car industries shut down, basically it turned, parts of Michigan into ghost towns and unemployment and, just not the booming city it was. And so far, Orlando has dipped, but it hasn't been as devastating as one might have thought. So I'm kind of happy with that. Like, there's still places to get jobs.
Yes.
And with the vaccine, hopefully everything will bounce back, but it could have been really bad. The COVID could have really taken a big chunk out of Florida. I don't think most people across the country realize how bad it could have been here.
Like, Florida is one of those places, especially here in Orlando, it depends on the tourism.
Right. I know California and New York, they're also facing certain uncertainties with their future, but they also have industries that could way more easily bounce back. New York is not just tourism.
No.
There's all sorts of industries there, all sorts of, I don't know. I don't want to say industries again, but
No, there's a lot of different things to do.
Right.
Like, there's so many different things.
right. I mean, Broadway is super affected, but New York doesn't depend on Broadway
No.
to keep itself running. And the movie industry has finally figured out how to start filming again in California, which was really easy to do all along. They could have been doing this the entire time. I don't know why they didn't, where they just quarantined their cast members so they could all film after a couple weeks.
I feel like it was one of those things that they wanted to see how other businesses took care of it, like kind of how the NBA had their little bubble down here.
Right.
And the NHL is still doing that in a way. Like, the teams out of Canada are not leaving Canada at all this year until they have to do the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
But overall, I feel like it's just let's see how other places do it and then see where it goes and see how we can adapt.
Yeah. But with that also, California also has many other industries that they can rely on.
Vineyards.
Even if Hollywood and the vineyards shut down, they're a big tech state, so they still have plenty of stuff.
I mean, Florida has some tech.
Some, yeah.
Some, but
We
not
have-
like other places.
We have Electronic Arts, which is the Walmart of video games.
Whoa, just because they've put out the same Madden game for the past 10 years doesn't mean anything.
You know what? That's on the people who buy that game. And I'm not a big sports ball person, but I do enjoy playing Madden every once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you can get Madden 2019 for 99 cents, or you can get Madden 2021 for $60, $70, and really the only thing is the roster's updated.
The roster's updated, and there's usually one change in the whole thing.
Is it a
Maybe.
significant change, though?
No, not usually. But it's really just a roster's updated where at the end of it I just go, probably could just do that anyways. But it's a great money-making thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been their bread and butter forever. It's like a Ponzi scheme almost, but a legal one. I mean, the consumers are willing to shell out that money for it.
What was it? The last time I got an EA game, I got their NHL one, and I got it because it was really 2 games in one. It was whatever year it was, and then they brought back, you could play, NHL 94 with those guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm getting, 2 games for one here. How can I not get it? And it was still, $30. So
Yeah.
it's even better. The price is great.
Yeah, just wait a couple years and have the roster a little bit behind, and you can pick it up for $1.
And then if you fantasy draft or something like that, you should know who's supposed to get better, so you can, totally get steals in there.
Yeah, but, whatever. That's how they support themselves. That's fine. So we all had to get different jobs, and it's been harder to coordinate the schedule to record the podcast because our previous job was pretty sweet, and we could rearrange our
We
schedules.
had set schedules.
whenever want.
Schedules.
Even with set schedules, we could change them around almost at a whim's notice.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So we were very spoiled. So now Laura is actually doing a special project, and she's working 3 hours away from the house. And I'm at a job, and JL's at a job, and we don't know our schedules till the last minute.
Sabrina is Sabrina.
Yeah, Sabrina's...
She's totally networking and meeting people, and I'm sure the stories are going to be great because, honestly, those aren't scripted. They're all true.
Yeah. She's not working, but she is the most busy, she's the most busy person without a job I've ever met.
Yep. Well, she's doing the homeschooling with the girls.
Yes.
And then she's doing pretty much everything else she can find to do.
Yes. And today she had a root canal on the one day that JL and I could record.
Yep.
So there's that problem with getting together. And we've been trying to make it work, and we've done a pretty good job. We got several more shows out than I thought we would.
Yeah, we did.
So, and then we took January off, which we normally take December off. So if you've been with the show, we do the one show in did I say September?
You almost did.
Oh, December. We do the one Christmas episode in December, and then we generally take it off. But this year, we took off January because there was a whole Manscaped ad commitment and yada, yada, yada. That turned out well. It didn't. We didn't get the contract, but that's fine because secretly, people who got the contract, they're trying to get out of the contract because I guess Manscaped is kind of demanding on...
Oh, well then, hey.
Yeah, the number of units you sell.
All right.
They're like on top of you.
Okay, then, hey.
No.
That worked out for us then.
Yeah, it actually really did. No offense to Manscaped. The product is really good from what I've heard. I didn't use it because they sent us one, and there's two of us, and we didn't feel like we should pass it back and forth.
That was going to be the ad.
But that's fine. We've had advertisers before, and I like the ones that aren't on your back about the numbers you bring in because this industry is not stable enough. We're not celebrities, so sorry.
Yeah, I'll go get in touch with our celebrity friends and see how we can get endorsed.
Yeah, well, I mean, the celebrities, if you're a celebrity, you put out a podcast, you already instantly have, 100,000 people who are going to listen to it. And so they can have those big ad contracts, but we're smaller. We only have 90,000 people that listen to this, so you have to give us a break.
That's it? I thought we had more.
No, we've dipped a little bit because of our show put out has been a little lacking lately. That's all right, because this is more of a passion project. And if you're getting into podcasting, you really need to look at it as more of, do I want to do it for me, or do I want to do it to make money? Because I know a lot of people, because in the Facebook groups, a lot of people are like, well, I just launched my first episode. How do I get advertising? Well, you don't.
We did that on an episode where we talked about those people.
Yeah, it's crazy. So in the podcast, I'm going to peel the curtains back a little bit. In the podcasting groups, you have the guys that are, I just put out my first episode, and it's two guys talking just like we are now, and we curse, and we just talk what's off the top of our heads, and how do I make money off of that? Well, you don't, because there's like 10 million podcasts that are just like yours. And then there's the other people who are like, I just released 15 seconds of my podcast, and I've got 5 million downloads. Yeah, sure, right? You do. No one's finding your podcast day one.
No.
They're not. There's just too many out there.
I'm still looking at the other podcast 42 that's out there.
Yeah. He hasn't recorded in a while, because I'll go check and see if he's recorded.
No, it's been years.
No, it's been a couple months. There's 3.
There's 3?
Yeah.
I missed the third one then.
Yeah. One was recording regularly, and I didn't listen to the show, but from the description, it's a single guy, and he just talks about what happens to him during his day or something like that.
How did I miss that show?
Sounds great. And he's like in another country.
Even better.
So I don't know if it's in his language or if it's in English. I should probably listen to it one day.
Yes.
There's I don't know if it's an app, webpage combo, but like there's, have you heard of Goodreads?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you log all the books and all the books of the world in there, and then you say, I've read this book, or I recommend this book.
Oh, you mean like I'm doing with Untapped for all my beers?
Yeah, it's like Untapped, but it's been around longer.
Okay.
There's one for podcasting.
Huh.
I forget. I think it's called Good Pods. It might even be by the same people. So, and you can make lists. So in my Good Pods account, I have a list of all the other shows that have our same name. And I said, these are all the shows that the name of my list is. These are all the shows that didn't Google if this podcast name was already taken.
We're on our third name.
Yeah. We're on our third name because the first one didn't work. It didn't flow. And then the second one found out that somebody already had it.
What was our second name?
Podcast Squared.
That's right, because we were the Annex first.
Yes, because we were like a supplement to another show. Like when they weren't recording, you could come listen to us.
Yep.
And then just to say the Annex, I don't know, it just didn't flow.
Yeah, there were certain people that couldn't say it.
Who, me?
Oh, I was going to say Faraz.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't remember.
I was thinking more Faraz. I thought it was just one of those things because it wasn't Batman or Star. It was Kyle. Let's just say it was Kyle.
So sometimes we talk about the history. So I thought we might talk about where we were and then what's coming next. And what's coming next isn't too much of a change. I know that some people that have been us through the beginning has seen the show evolve from a couple different formats. So the next format that we're switching to is very similar with some tweaks, I want to say.
Just some minor ones.
Just minor, major tweaks. Minor, really minor.
Really minor.
Yeah.
But major.
So where we came from is 5 guys talking on a microphone. And
Just like this.
People have heard us tell this story before.
We weren't even on microphones. We were doing it on a phone.
Yeah. Faraz had a round table, and we would set the phone in the middle of it and then just kind of talk over each other.
He only had 4 chairs, and one person had to sit on the couch cushion to record.
Yes, me.
Yep.
And he wasn't going to get a 5th chair.
No.
He refused.
No, that's when we brought the folding chair. It was all dented from wrestling.
So that show was basically a show that you hear all the time out there. It was 5 of us. We just came to the table with whatever was on our minds for that day. There was no set anything.
No, except for the beer.
Yes.
The only constant throughout the entire show has been the beer cooler.
Yes. Which I think is the only way I got you guys to record in the beginning.
No, you asked me if I wanted to drink and talk, and I said, that's my favorite thing.
No, I said, do you want to do a podcast? And you said, what's a podcast? And I said, we can talk about beer, and you said, I'm in.
That is actually really how it happened.
So then from that point, we just kind of picked 3 other guys who we thought could talk about things. Although I don't think you were a fan of one of them in the beginning to be on the show. And I won't name who it was. They don't listen, but just...
Yeah, no.
I didn't think you would think that he would gel very well.
Yeah.
But I thought he was awkward enough that, if anything, we could at least make fun of him.
Yes. Yes.
So from that point, then one of them, and we'll also not name them, thought would be really good at this format because of their extracurricular activity of going on stage and talking to people.
Yes.
But ended up, whenever the microphones came on...
Dead air.
Yeah. Didn't talk very much or didn't contribute very much or wasn't like that funny like we thought he might be.
No, it just didn't... It didn't work.
It didn't work. So, and I've seen some of his stand-up on YouTube and stuff, and it was pretty good. It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if maybe he needed a audience. Maybe that was the problem.
Maybe.
So, who knows? So, like JL said, we would just sit around the table and talk, and it would mostly end up falling back to Batman.
Or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars.
And I just specifically remember one night before we started recording where Chris goes, okay, we're going to do this show, and we are not going to mention Batman or Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And we almost made it the whole episode.
Yes.
Almost.
So maybe if we were smart, we should have just done a Batman Star Wars podcast.
But then it would still have only been 2 people talking.
Yeah, so that would have been frustrating. So from that point, we decided to let go of one person. And then I don't know how it evolved to, like, Nicole.
Well, we ended up,
Faraz left.
Faraz left. We ended up switching where we were recording.
Okay.
And the original idea for Nicole joining was that she was going to be our fact checker.
Oh, yeah.
She was supposed to make sure that the things we were saying were true because of how often I'd like to play tricks on you and the others with saying things like it was real, and then we found out that it wasn't. I was like, well, I knew that. Why did you guys believe me? So the idea was to bring her in to fact check us, and then her role just kind of evolved from there.
You know why we believed you? Because when we set out the roles in the beginning of we were like quote unquote experts. So like of the 5, like you were supposed to be the all around pulp culture music expert wrestling.
Yeah.
And then the one guy was like super into anime, although he never talked about any anime at all. And he was the anime expert.
Yep.
And then one guy was like the Star Wars expert. And the other guy was like the comic book expert. And then I'm not an expert in anything. I was just supposed to try to tie it all together, which I didn't really do that great of a job because everyone just kind of talked over each other.
Yes, we did.
So yeah, that's right. Nicole was going to be. She wasn't going to be like a regular voice. She was just going to be like a producer.
Yeah, she was going to be a producer. She was going to sit there, and when we needed to, whoever she was sitting next to was just going to put the mic in front of her so she could say what she needed to say.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of became part of the show.
Yes.
After the video game episode.
Yes. Which would have been great if it was a Twitch stream.
Yes, because all it was us yelling at Nicole to...
Yes. I think we almost thought about doing a Twitch stream with just Nicole playing video games.
We did consider it.
And then us just ragging on her. It probably would have done really well.
Probably.
But technology and time.
Yeah. But then we ended up losing another person. The comedian left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was there. So it was still 5 of us, wasn't it?
There were still 5 of us.
Okay.
And then the comedian left.
Yes. And then I forget why Faraz left. I think he just couldn't juggle or something. I don't remember. He quit on his own. He said, I'm leaving. And I don't remember why. I remember it was surprising that he was leaving. Oh, I do remember why he was leaving. Yeah, I see your face. There was controversy. Okay, yeah. Yes. So there's a little bit of controversy. We've talked about in past shows. We won't talk about it now. But I will say that it was stupid controversy.
Which everything has been taken care of since then.
Yeah, things have been mended over. Things are fine.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was a big deal. And if you boil down to its essence, it really wasn't that big a deal. But Frost felt really strongly about it. We call it Blanket Gate.
Yes. Yep. But then
how stupid that I forgot about that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you forgot about Blanket Gate. I was like, I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to bring it up.
Well, you were looking at me like, really? And I'm like, uh-oh, what am I missing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then the comedian left.
And Nicole joined. And then we decided as a format,
we were going to do like structured, like biographies on people.
Structured bits.
And all that, where it was like slight impressions here, but mainly going over whatever the topic was.
Oh, before that, though, it was like homework. And there's a couple bits. People would bring things to the table like quizzes. And then we decided after that to kind of do the biography thing.
I'm amazed. I mean, the only reason we got rid of homework was because Nicole left the show. It was her favorite segment.
Yeah. And the homework segment was fun. I enjoyed it.
That was part of the reason why someone left the show.
Did she leave because of the actual homework, or did she leave because we got rid of the theme song?
No, that wasn't why she left. That was why our comedian left.
Oh, yeah, because he never did
his homework.
He did the homework during the bit. The rest of us would have to start.
And he had to go last.
Yeah.
Because he never had it done.
And the homework was like a set theme. So like it would be like, all right, you have a week to come up with your favorite captains. And it could be any captain. It could be captain of a ship, captain of a starship.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Captain Crunch, whatever.
Yeah, which I think we actually did do that, where it was just like, we just picked like the most obscure captains. Like, I think I threw in Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah.
So because I knew you were going to throw in Captain Crunch. So I was like, well, I'm going to throw in Captain Kangaroo.
So it wasn't really hard, and the segment was really short, but for some reason he could never get it done. Like
for
his
our
life
10-minute segment there.
Yeah, his life was so busy of smoking pot and quitting jobs that he couldn't get.
Yeah, so
whatever.
He was gone after that. So then it was down to a 4-person show.
Which actually worked out better.
Worked out great. We did the whole scripted thing. That was like our first time doing scripted anything.
Yes. And the scripts are nice, but the scripts that we did were more like a essay.
Yes.
And I thought it was okay, but it really wasn't hitting the mark.
No, like it wasn't as funny as it could be. It was ad-lib funny.
Yeah.
But there were things that we could have thrown in there to make it funnier.
Yeah. So one thing that JL is good at is that he can do some voices. No Rich Little, but the voices you do very well.
Thank you.
So I'm like, well, we need to step up our game. So we decided. At the time, I was a big fan of Business Wars, and Business Wars, it's one guy, and I don't know how he does it because he does all the voices for everybody, and it's just the one guy, but he does it. His voices are just slightly different enough that he can do two people doing a conversation, and you could really figure out the two different people doing the conversation. And I think we've gotten a lot better at that, but it's like the people who do the audiobooks and they read the whole audiobook and they do all the different voices, and you can clearly tell it's just the same person doing all the different voices, yet they're still so slightly different that you can still follow the story, and that just boggles my mind. Like for me, when you say I only have like the one or two voices,
yeah,
and they're outrageous voices, like they're not
it's either redneck or female Monty Python.
Yeah. Or brooder. But they have to be so different that I feel like they have to be so cartoony for me so that you can tell it's not just me talking to me.
Right. I don't know. Shame went out the window because I do story time with Lex.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing story time, it's voices for every single character.
Yeah. And you got a really good handle on that.
Which sometimes I forget what story I'm doing, and I realize that there's 5 more characters than I realized when I first picked the book. And I go, how did that person sound at the beginning? Oh, that's right. They were very like Sean Connery-ish. Or, I'm just going to make this one Patrick Warburton. It's like,
so with that, we started sticking voices in the script, but they were still mostly essays.
Yes.
And then every once in a while, a character would speak.
Ernest was our first one.
Yeah.
Hey, Vern. Hey, Vern. Which was a huge thing when we did that because you had like 3 of us going, all right, who's going to do this? Mm-hmm. And then it turned into just me and you being like, all right, who's going to be Ernest? And it was just like coin flip before the show.
But we did evolve that format.
Yep.
And eventually, Faraz came back.
But we lost somebody.
We lost somebody. He who shall not be named, although I did name him. He doesn't want to be named, so he'll be bleeped out when I go back to edit. And then it was you, me, Faraz, and Nicole.
Yes. Where we stuck with the same format.
We stuck with the same format.
And Faraz actually helped with a lot of the writing, which helped you out a lot.
He did. His subjects were interesting when he picked them. They weren't.
Yeah, I know.
He did Batman. Didn't he do Batman?
No, we never did Batman.
No, I thought we did The Dark Knight. Yeah, we did do The Dark Knight.
Yes, we did the movie The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which I sat there going, why aren't we doing the whole trilogy?
And then he also wanted to do the politics of Star Wars.
Yeah. Did we do that? I think we did.
We did. It was 2 parts.
It was.
So interesting, which is one of the... I thought that was an interesting subject to pick because, excuse me, Coconut Stout just came up. Because that's what the first 3... That's what the prequels get ding-dong, is they're too political.
Right.
That's why a lot of people don't like them.
Well, it's all about the Senate and him taking over the Senate. Like, I feel like they need to be that political, though, to show how the empire rose.
Yeah.
Like, there had to be an established government right there. So you have to show how you're overthrowing this government so that way the empire can come to be.
I just thought it was strange for Lucas to go in that direction because the first 3 movies were all about, I wanted to be like a Flash Gordon thing.
Right.
Action and soap opera and...
That's also, I think that's one of those things, though, that people expected. Like, they were all like, all right, we're going to get the story of how he became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So they thought it was going to be more on that when he threw in so much about the government because he has to be manipulated by the emperor who's rising to power at the same time. So you got to have the politics in there.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be so much, but it did have to be a good portion.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think Jar Jar Binks I think that was a bad choice. Somebody should have said to Lucas, you need to tone this character down or change him completely.
Just get rid of him. Even watching that movie back then, I just went, I don't like this guy. I don't like this character.
Well, if they made him talk normal and maybe not be such a klutzy klutz, it probably would have worked.
But he's in there for the comedy relief in that first movie.
Yeah, and to sell toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
So that was the problem from the first 3 movies is they sold so many toys that I think we need to keep this up.
Well, they sold enough for those ones as well.
You would have sold toys no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. I mean, they came out with everybody's lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you not going to get anybody to buy that? I mean, even me as a teenager was like, yeah, I want Mace Windu's lightsaber. You just made Samuel L. Jackson a Jedi. Yes, I want that lightsaber.
Yeah. That's why everyone in the last 3 has drastically different lightsabers so we can keep selling them.
That's right.
Marketing.
And I have my Mace Windu lightsaber replica hanging up at home. It's right by my Kylo Ren one.
So the topics were interesting and varied. What's funny is for the longest time, we did an episode on Pink Floyd.
That was our most downloaded episode. And we made the jokes about it all the time. We're like, we're never going to reach Pink Floyd level ever again.
No, and that one was an essay style. That's where we just each took a paragraph and read it straight up.
We should redo Pink Floyd.
We have to redo Pink Floyd. Well, the new format, we could do whatever we want.
I know.
We can even go back.
I know. I'm already coming up with ideas right now, and I'm not going to say them on here because they'd be spoilers.
See? And when I first told you, you were like...
I've been drinking, and that's when everything starts. You can't have a conversation with sober JL about things that Buzz JL is going to write about.
So over this whole course of time and every format change, here's how it works. JL and I are at the core of the decision making. And I'll come to JL and I'll say, let's do this. And JL will say, I like this. And I'll say, but if we do this, we can do this, this, and this. And JL will say, why do you keep U2ing the show?
I'm like, we don't want to Zooropa this. We want to stick with our Joshua tree.
Yes. He'll say, AC/DC has worked forever. Let's be AC/DC. And I'm like, no, let's be U2. And then he's like, okay, well, we can be U2. But if U2 doesn't work, we're not going to continue U2. We're going to go back to AC/DC.
This is more of a Metallica thing, like where it's like, all right, we're going to try this, but let's not like Lilo, like what was it, Lilo or Lilu or whatever like that, the album they did with Lou Reed.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know they did an album.
They did an album with Lou Reed. It was awful. Like, it was completely frowned upon. But before that, it was Saint Anger. Everybody looks at Metallica and they just go, oh, Saint Anger. The one song everybody likes on that whole album is a pure instrumental track.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to like Call of Cthulhu. I think that's what it is, Call of Cthulhu or something. I can't remember. But yeah, you just go like, no, I don't want to Saint Anger the show.
Yes, definitely not. We definitely want it. Any changes we make, we always want it to progress the show and move it forward.
Yes. And it took a little while, and the more I thought about it, when the idea that Chris came up with, he was a little vague in the discussions at first.
Yeah, I was still trying to formulate it.
But once he came up with a plot and his idea for it, I went, all right, that sounds a lot better. I like the direction.
Well, I did take your input because originally I was going to go all the way to the right or left or whatever you want to say. I don't want it to be a political thing. I want it
Whichever
to be
way you're taking it was going to be in the complete opposite direction of where we were.
I'm talking about a road.
Yes. Yes. He was going to make that like far left turn or
Think of a traffic circle. So I was going to get off on the left-hand side. And JL's like, well, you can get off on the left-hand side, but you need to remember the right-hand side because the right-hand side has been working really well. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to respect what JL says. I can't just do this by myself. It has to be a team effort. So I'm like, I'll take the right and I'll take the left and I'll mash them together and we'll just go down the middle road. And I think that's what we're doing. But with all of that said and all the changes of the podcast, I do have now a new respect for these bands that want to change their sound all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I get it now.
I'm starting to understand like why, like I always like you made the joke of like, let's be AC, like I said, let's be AC/DC. I'm like, yeah. But it worked for the Ramones, too. And it's like, I look at the punk albums that I love listening to, and it's like, how many of them really evolved past the sound? And I go, well, Green Day did all these different things. I mean, The Offspring, they changed their sound once, and they've been doing that same sound now for 23 years.
Right.
So I don't want to be like, all right, well, this worked. And then, yes, I get how you can feel stagnant sometimes, but at the same time, like, well, let's stick with the core of what's working for us, too.
I think Green Day is a perfect example because they still have that sound, but they've also evolved it quite a bit. Not counting that last album, which I really loved a lot. I know a lot of people weren't I know you're not happy with it.
I wasn't a big fan of like the direction. I didn't like the way the vocals sounded.
I thought it was amazing.
So
It's different, but you still had that bottom layer of Green Day.
musically, they sounded like Green Day. It was
Yeah.
just I didn't like how the audio came through. You know, kind of like when we record something, you just go, "Ooh, this audio's off over here."
Yeah.
That's how I felt listening to his singing on that album.
Well, I just watched the Britney Spears documentary, and I felt the same way about that one Britney Spears album that everybody hates. I think it's Femme Fatale, where she went like electronic.
Yeah.
And that album is brilliant. And of course, her core fans want, Baby Hit Me One More Time.
Yeah, they want "Oops, I Did It Again," all that stuff.
Yeah, but that electronic album is amazing. For electronic album, it's super listenable. It's got catchy songs on it, and she changed her sound, but it's still Britney Spears.
You can't change Britney's voice.
No. By the way, that documentary I recommend watching, and I recommend everyone watching it. You'll have such a different insight.
What's it on?
It was on Hulu. I don't know
Okay.
what channel originally it was on, because now we just do nothing but streaming.
Okay.
It just came up in a
I figured it was on a
recommended.
streaming. That's why I was trying
Yeah.
to be like, which streaming is it on?
But it was on a network, and then it just popped in my Hulu as a recommended watch.
Huh.
But what the hell she went through, you can understand why she temporarily lost her mind. I would have lost my mind. Everybody would have lost their minds. What that poor woman had to go through as soon as she hit fame. So watch it. You'll get a whole new respect for Britney Spears.
Britney, bitch.
Leave Britney alone. Now I know why Chris Crocker was so upset. I'm going to email Chris Crocker and I'm going to say, you are not some YouTube one-off guy. You were right there on the forefront of the Britney Spears
You
movement.
knew it when we didn't.
Yes. So I'm going to go cry in bed now and yell, leave Britney alone. You were correct.
But yeah, we're going to change a little bit, just like we've changed the show over the years, where we've lost a few people, but we've gained more listeners.
Yes.
We're going to switch things up a little bit.
We're actually at the height of our downloads. I don't want to tell Jay all this. We're at the height of our listenership we have ever been. So it is time to change format. We're not changing that much. All we're really doing is there's going to be an underlining congruent story. That's it. So there'll be very familiar pieces every week, and we're still going to do the deep dive into pop culture history.
And there will be throwbacks that will be thrown in at different times.
Yes.
And the way I'm seeing this is that the episodes might want to be listened in order by the way that we do it and all that. So,
Yeah. I would say definitely listen to the first episode.
and you'll know when we start it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
All right. So,
Don't be afraid. Nobody be afraid.
No.
Because I took a lot of JL's advice. And if you would be afraid if I didn't take any of JL's advice. Because JL was right. We're at the height of our personal popularity, and we need to not just go out and say this is something completely different.
yeah. This is our version of a concept album in a way.
Yeah, that's how you've been describing it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun voyage. It's going to be a fantastic voyage, like Coolio took you on.
Yes, I think it'll be. I've just been personally. I've been feeling a little stagnant, and not that they've been bad episodes. I think we really have put out some quality, funny, interesting episodes. But I just feel like we keep going to the same well, and I want to go to a well that has some other flavors in it.
But yet the same.
What? What am I saying?
He wants to change, but not completely change. Just a minor alteration.
Yeah, just like I said, it's just gonna be like, how you go to a sitcom and it's like Full House, for example. Full House is always in the same house, so you have that
Familiarity?
Yes. I don't know why I can't say certain words, but you have that. But the plot changes somewhat every episode.
And it's not going to be like we're sending Richie's brother up to go do his homework and you're never going to hear from him again or anything like that. And we're also not going to Cousin Oliver you at the same time.
No. And we're not going to get on a motorcycle and have a shark that we have to jump
Yeah, we're not
over.
jumping the shark.
No,
He water skied with his leather jacket on. That was the whole jumping the shark.
Oh, was it water skiing over?
Yeah,
the
he
shark?
was water skied wearing his leather jacket, which is why everybody remembers it. And he water skied over the shark, and he jumped over the shark. So
I thought he took took his motorcycle over the shark.
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I want to say he was water skiing because I distinctly remember the Fonz water skiing, wearing his leather jacket, and everybody being like, he's on the water. Why is he wearing his leather jacket?
Because he's the Fonz. So that's it. So the next episode, right now it's tentatively titled something like Origin Stories Always Suck in the Beginning, because I'm not a fan of origin stories.
It should be titled, You Can Only Kill Uncle Ben So Many Times.
Yes. I know how Spider-Man got to be Spider-Man.
Right. How many times can we kill Uncle Ben? How many times can Bruce Wayne's parents die?
Which I was so happy when Tom Holland took over that we didn't do that.
I know, right?
Amazing. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Can you imagine what Uncle Ben would look like since Marissa Tomei's Aunt May now?
Yeah. But it was a good decision, Marvel. You did good on that. So that's it. A lot of talking for, hey, we're changing the format. Stick with us. We promise you'll like it.
There's a payout at the end of this.
What's that?
The beer cooler.
Oh, the beer cooler. Okay, let's revisit.
Cola, never run away, never gonna away. Cola, never went away, never went away. Cola, boom.
Perfect. All right, Sabrina, you go first. I hated it. I give it a 6. All right, Laura, you're next. I don't like coconut.
I don't like coconut.
Or stouts.
I
give it a 1.
I'll give it a 1. This beer needs to nap.
All right, I guess I'll go next.
But what is the beer?
Oh, yeah. What is the beer?
It is from Weldwerks Brewing, their coffee coconut stout. It's an imperial milk stout. It's an 8% ABV, and the brewery is out of Greeley, Colorado.
So we discussed earlier when we first tried it that aftertaste was super lingering. But a lot of beers, you have to get settled into the flavor. And after settling into the flavor, the aftertaste didn't stay forever. Maybe this is one you had to shake up. I don't know.
I made sure to look to see if it was one that we had to roll, because I wasn't falling for that one again.
Okay. It doesn't say.
It doesn't say or anything like that, so no. But
with that being said, the coffee and the coconut really kind of take a back seat to the stout. They're not really at the forefront. And with the stout, for me personally, the stout is a super heavy, super dark beer. And if I'm going to drink a stout, which I do enjoy, it's got to be flavored of some way, shape, or form. Oatmeal stouts are great. Coffee stouts are great. If you have a coffee stout on your beer menu, I'm probably going to go for that. It's okay. You needed to bring either the coffee or the coconut to the front of the taste, and I forgot what I was going with that. Anyway, it's a lot of stout and a little bit of coffee, a little bit of coconut. So I'm going to ultimately give it a 3. If they had done it the other way, I probably would have given it a 5 or a 6. Beer Master.
I like it. It's got a good taste to it. You get a little bit of the coffee. I like the coconut at the end, and it doesn't take away from it being a stout. Like, it's a total milk stout. You get a little creaminess in there as well. Mm-hmm. The flavor is really good, and it's got a very, very smooth finish. I like it because most like stouts and all, you get that malty taste to it.
Right.
And this one doesn't have that. It's very balanced, great drinkability. I would have to give it a 5.
Okay.
I mean, I've always said the way to my heart with stouts and porters is by adding coffee to them.
Yes.
And I just feel that it's a natural thing that they go together because it brings out the flavor in the beer and the coffee, typically, if it's done the right way. This one's very good. They did a great job. I was a little worried with the coconut, but that like aftertaste when it hits you, it's a very good after effect.
Except for those first couple sips.
Yeah, that first sip, like the coconut lasted too long.
Yes.
So really, like, don't judge this beer by the first sip. You got to drink the whole thing.
Yes.
Because then you'll get the full flavor of it. This would not be good in like a flight in a 6-ounce pour.
I wonder why beer does that sometimes. Why the profile changes.
I don't know, but maybe it was getting more air or anything like that.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, this was very good. I really enjoyed it.
I wonder if you do it on draft, if that would change the whole
I don't know.
flavor profile of it. Because I bet I would like it better on draft. But everything's better on draft. So.
Yeah, and stouts and porters are always better on draft.
Yeah.
We just got in this mango habanero beer at work, and you get no mango from it. And the aftertaste, not only because this is going back to the coconut aftertaste, all you get is the spicy habanero aftertaste. It's a mango habanero IPA. I don't know who does it offhand, but all you get is the habanero at the end. It tastes like a typical like IPA, American Pale Ale, and then you just get like this spiciness at the end. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's just not balanced enough. I feel like, as I've said before on certain beers, don't label something where it's like, oh, it's this and this. No, it's not. It's just habanero. There's no mango in there whatsoever. So I don't know how they say that. Where with this one, I taste the coffee and I get the coconut aftertaste, and it still has the effect of being a stout with the way that it goes. It's not misleading.
Probably did that because would you want to just get a habanero beer? Would that sound appealing to you?
I would try it. But then again, I believe in trying almost every beer at least once.
Right, you're a connoisseur, so. But for the average person, I don't know.
Average person, no, I think that would scare.
Yeah.
So the mango being on there, but like at least get some of the mango in there.
Yeah. See, I don't even know if I would want to try. I mean, I would try a sip of it. But I don't know if I'd want to get a whole can of mango habanero beer. I don't know. That does not sound good to me.
I don't know. It's been the debate of the week at work where we're all just doing a sample like almost like every day to every other day, like somebody is. And we're just going, so what do you think of it? What do you think of this beer? And right now there are only like 3 of us, me including, that said that it was a decent beer.
Yeah.
Everybody else just utterly hates it.
I'm afraid because the beer has really taken off as far as... I mean, beer's always been around forever and popular, but now it seems like it's really taken off as like wine, where you got people who are like devoted, and you got companies that are like, okay, we've got to come up with something unique, flavorful, and we'll kind of put our beer out there because there's so much competition now.
Yeah. I'm going to find out who does it, and I'm going to get it for the show.
Okay.
That's my plan. Like at some point, I'm going to find out who does it because it's most likely a local.
But when I hear mango habanero, the first thing that comes to my mind is
wings.
Well, no, they're just trying to stand out.
Yeah.
So now you got to crack. Like I've even said it on the show. I'm like, this is a good IPA, but it's a standard IPA.
Right. It's good to have a regular IPA every once in a while. And I feel like that's the way we're going, where how most people are like, ooh, let me have just a traditional lager or something like that. Now it's like we look at traditional IPAs because of how much they've put into so many of them and how we've tried so many just with this show.
Yeah.
That you just go, oh, well, it's a basic IPA.
Right. And I think
where's this?
Brewers are feeling that.
I mean, I was making jokes during the Super Bowl because Sam Adams had their commercial for their Wicked Hazy IPA, which all I went was, oh, look, they just changed the name of their New England IPA to Wicked Hazy, and they're just remarketing it.
Although, if it has hazy in front of it, I'll drink it more than if it doesn't.
Right.
For me personally.
And honestly, if it really is just their New England style IPA, just under a different name, I'll get it anyways because their New England IPA was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it. Had great flavor to it. Really smooth. So
there's just it works really well that there's competition, and then it works against you because I'm waiting for the strawberry meatloaf pine cone IPA to hit the market. You know,
I'll get with somebody on that.
So that's it. It's just really an announcement of what's going on and why things have been a little inconsistent. But hopefully, as the year goes on, we'll get things back on track.
Honestly, we're just trying to show you who runs this show. It's really the 2 of us. It's the JL and Chris show. Sabrina's just here for the ride, and Laura's here for the beer.
Yes. All right, so keep an eye out for the next episode, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye.
Not all conversations or events are 100% accurate. As if you didn't figure that out already. Some things are changed or added, or even deleted for the sake of attempted comedy. All sources are never verified, and all information is subject to being slightly sketchy. In other words, we are just having some fun. Thank you for listening.
This has been a transmission of the Podfix Network. For more about this show and other great Podfix programs, go to podfixnetwork.com.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I love podcasts. Who's got recommendations? And send. That was quick.
Do you like comedy? What about movies? Pop culture?
Yeah.
Do you like animals? What about science?
Well, yeah.
Do you dig plants? What about writing, snacks, rambling, and rants?
Well,
filmmaking, improv, and interviews, Canadians, Australians, boating forecasts and soup reviews, ladies, gentlemen, cretins, or comic books, script reads, bad TV, heads that should, perfectly picked packages popping up, podcasts pointing people to discover other podcasts.
Yes. Fantastic. Check out the Podfix Network. Podfixnetwork.com. At Podfix on Twitter. Official_Podfix on the gram. Plus, check out Podfix Presents wherever fine podcasts are found. The Podfix Network, artist owned and loved.